In a deadly force encounter, you will only have split seconds to make life and death decisions. Hi everyone, this is John with today's active self-protection lesson. Today's lesson comes to us from Hamilton, Ohio, and it's an officer-involved shooting with two very significant lessons. The first one we're going to see is how incredibly long in a deadly force encounter it takes law enforcement to arrive. Secondly, we're going to see once law enforcement does arrive, how fast a deadly force encounter happens and how little time you have to make life and death decisions. I've sped this one up at the beginning, but if you go read the news story in the description, this guy was back behind the counter in the pharmacy for 9 minutes. And you can see he's got a large knife in his hand. He wanted money, he wanted drugs, and this pharmacist had given him everything. And 9 minutes it takes for officers to show up. I don't think that's their fault. That's what the realities are that happens. That's as fast as they can get there. But they get back to the back as fast as they can, but they still can't see this guy because they're on defense and they don't know where he is, and he is hiding in the back. So we've slowed it back down here and we can see the first officer come in, and both officers actually come around about the same time. And this guy who has got a large hunting knife decides that he wants to bug, and one of the officers there has got a gun on him and puts a couple shots on target. We're going to see how those go here from the other side, from the drive-through register. See the officer finally end the threat, and this guy goes down, and there you go watch the longer video. They just put him in cuffs from here. Let's go back and learn some lessons. First of all, you can see down there in the lower right-hand corner that he has a very large knife with a gut hook on it. I think that adds to the emotional, idea that's going on here. It's a very threatening knife. And he wants what's out of the cash register, and she complies. If you don't have attitude, skills, and plan to protect yourself from an armed robber, compliance is probably the only thing you can do. And she complies with this guy, but it certainly doesn't keep her safe. Imagine being her for 9 minutes and waiting on help to come. This is why we say you got to protect yourself, because you just have that agonizingly long wait that he could have hurt her or anybody else around her. Now, as these officers come in, look at the problem that they're facing. First of all these shelves, let's just recognize they're concealment, but they're probably not covered. They're probably not made out of a stout metal, but they will hide you, and concealment in that case is just as good as cover. And so they're going to look around and try to find this guy, and they both pretty much do simultaneously. And when he decides to bolt out the other side, we see the officer here gets around that corner first and gets his gun up and on target. Now, why would you do that? Guy has a knife and he's threatening the pharmacist with it. That's absolutely justifiable there. Now, he's going to start putting shots on target, and one thing, this guy's going to finally go down, but he gets all the way past the officer. And one thing I want to think about here is he does at least take one shot here, or a couple, after this man has passed him. And is that okay? Well, we can talk about law enforcement use of forces all the time, and I think that's a valuable discussion to have. But clearly, they have established that a law enforcement officer can shoot a fleeing felon if they continue to present a deadly threat to those around him. This guy still had his knife on him. He still was a deadly threat to everyone around him, completely justified. Even in that moment, if he was a CCW holder, imminent threat was still ongoing. We don't know what this guy was going to do, whether he was going to run out the store or just find a better place to, continue his attack or his threat to everyone. Completely justifiable. So what did we learn out of this one? Number one, you got to be able to protect yourself. Number two, compliance can get you somewhere, but you're better off with attitude, skills, and plan. Number three, that when the time comes, cover and concealment are almost interchangeable. And number four, you got to get those shots on target quickly, and the decisions to do so come in a very fast moment when it's time to cover your asp.